Invocation. Om apyayantu mangani vakpranachakshushrotramata balamindriyani cha sarva निराकरोदनिराकरणमस्त्वनिराकरणमेऽस्तु तदात्मनि निरतेया उपनिषत्सु ब्रह्मा स्ते मयि सन्तु ॐ शान्ति शान्ति शान्तिः ॐ May the different parts of my body, my tongue, pranas, eyes, ears, and my strength, and all other sense organs be nourished. All indeed is Brahman, as is declared in the Upanishads. May I never deny Brahman. May Brahman never deny me. May there never be denial on the part of Brahman. May there be never denial on yeah. Just before that, I would go into recapitulate the previous Upanishads, whatever we have learned so far. We studied the Upanishads taught us that the senses, the mind, or the intellect are by themselves not self-sufficient. They function because of the power that is behind them. No organs, whether organs of perception or the action, whatever it is, in the mind, everything has to be animated, energized by the one reality or the consciousness or the intelligence that's behind. None of them are self-sufficient by themselves. The question was asked, by what power does the mind alight on the sense objects? How does the eyes go out? And instead of giving a direct answer, the Upanishad says that that reality is ear of the ear, mind of the mind, the speech of the speech, life of the life, eye of the eye, and that no speech can describe it. Rather, the speech finds its power to describe through that. No mind can comprehend. Rather, mind gets its ability to comprehend the objective world by it. So on it goes. The Upanishads, just in a suggestive manner, because for a subjective experience, you cannot, however much you try to give an objective answer, it cannot be given. So the language is always a negative one. That's why the Upanishadic language is called as neti, negative. You cannot point out and say, this is the truth. Rather, this This is not the truth. You eliminate what is not truth and be established in the truth. That's the way the Upanishads try to give some suggestions. And naturally, any one of us, when we learn, we know, we have understood, that would be our reaction. So the Upanishad cautions, if you think that you have understood it very well, surely you have not understood. For the question of understanding for us comes through mind and intellect. And mind and intellect are always outgoing until and unless the intellect turns towards the light which is lightening or um, energizing it or endowing it with the consciousness, it can never comprehend. What happens is the mind will merge, it will just dissolve. And what is that is there. So that's only way of the explanation. So if we think that we have understood, very little of it we have understood. For as far as understanding is concerned, we can understand about the Brahman or Atman only when it is conditioned by the receptacle or the name and form, maybe the universe, objective universe, we humans, or the divinities. Sri Krishna in Bhagavad Gita said, with one fraction of my being, I pervade this whole universe. The rest of my being is transcendental. That means what we can comprehend about Brahman is just very little. That's Upanishad. If you have understood, you have understood very little. Hence, your understanding of Brahman is still subject to investigation. And Upanishad tells that this is the best time. As long as you have the psychophysical organism strong, work it out. Go in. If you miss this opportunity, you will be missing a big loss, because we think it is very easy to get a human body. It is not. It's not easy to get a human body. So many factors are involved in the production of this body. Which packet will be used, we do not know. And what's the content of the packets, we do not know. I mean the Sanchita karmas. Which are the karmas that is going to be fruitified, and what are the contents of that karma, and where it is going to, and what sort of body I'm going to get. I have no idea. Of course, none of us, we are going to deteriorate. We will be possessing the human body, because after getting Vedanta, none of us, I think we will go back. Always we will go ahead. But we do not know what sort of situations we might be. Just imagine the conditions that are going on in the world now. Who can think of Brahman at this time? We in Australia are sitting here peacefully and trying to think about Brahman. So this is not given to everybody. That is why the Upanishad says, caution, if you miss it, great is your loss. The Upanishads are trying to tell us, be serious. You have not come to play here. That's finished. The early part of our life, we did that. Okay, finished. Now the greater part of our life, the evenings of our lives, at least we need to dedicate to Brahman. That's very, very essential. Try to accelerate your evolution as much as possible within this given time. The Upanishads cautious us. Mahati vinashti. So what happens when we realize our divinity? We know this divinity is not just within me, it's all pervasive. It is subtle, it's all pervasive, and it is deep within me. And only then we can think of anything about connectedness, and all that. Then only we will have true fellowship or friendly, maitri, karuna, all what Buddha expresses. All this is possible only when we realize our true nature, because we realize this Atman is Brahman, which is supreme self, all pervading, one and non-dual. Only then I and my neighbor are one. Love your neighbor thyself. This can happen only at that time, not before that. Before that, everything is lip word. Or rather, let's not be so harsh. Rather, we can say it is the period of sadhana. We are working, we are practicing to be compassionate. We are practicing to feel our oneness with everybody. And when we get the glimpses of the reality, then it becomes a spontaneous experience, which is called siddhi. Sadhana becomes siddhi. You have achieved. No more you have to put an effort to love somebody, to feel your oneness with. It is revealed. You feel, spontaneously you feel your oneness. And there, true maitri, karuna, friendship, compassion, all these things will have value. Before that, it's all empty words. So this third part of the Upanishad is trying to tell the same thing through a fascinating story. Stories are very fascinating. Everyone adores story. And stories are very good means to make one understand the subtle things. So here, the Upanishads try to bring a story so that we can try to understand what they mean. Brahma devebhyo vijigye tasya brahmano vijaye deva amahiyanta ta akshanta asmakam evayam vijayo asmakam evayam mahimeti. The story goes that Brahman obtained a victory for the Devas. Though the victory was due to Brahman, the Devas became elated by it and thought, this victory is due to us only. This glory belongs to us only. So this is the nature of we humans. Though we are very keenly aware of our limitations, still we boast of, we think too much of ourselves. And not only that, we steal the glory of God and then claim, it's we who did it. So this is the nature of human beings. That is why this story, in the story, we know the Devas means the sattvic, noble, and who are quite near to God or reality, whatever it is. They are called as Devas because Deva means the bright ones. So the intellect is bright, sattvic. So that is why they are called as Devas. And at the same time, the one which is dark, away from reality. See, like Semitic religions, we do not have two different categories. One is the God and another devil. The Vedanta never says that. Whatever is only one. The closer to the reality, you are divine. Away from the reality, you become a demon. Because nearer to reality, harmony, unity, oneness, all this comes. Away from reality, diversity, disharmony, and separativeness, egocentricity, everything comes. So that is nothing but demoniac characters. So that's the difference. So some are close to reality, sattvic people, you can designate them as the devas. Some are quite away, absolutely their life is centered on senses. Asura, asu means the life energy is in the senses. They enjoy the senses. Rank materialist. Absolutely no concern for anything. The whole thing is me. So self-centered, absolutely me, not even anyone else other than me. So such type of people, so they are the demons. So once there is always this fight in us, our good nature, our divine nature, the voice is very feeble, but whereas our ego and outgoing tendencies are so strong, they overpower. So always, and another thing, very fascinating thing about human life is the faith of a evil person in his evil deed is far greater than the faith of a good person in his goodness. You just think this. A person of demon nature, he knows he can do anything. He can chop off everybody and overpower. But whereas the good person, we are so good. Why does this happen to me? No faith in their goodness. Some little bit adversity. Oh, this has happened to us. We always think of God. Why does this happen to us? See, we don't have faith in our goodness. We don't have faith in the goodness that God will ultimately do the good things. But whereas, look at this wicked person. He knows by hook or crook, he will get his things done. So his faith in his wickedness is far stronger than the faith of a good man in his good nature. This is very thing. So every time the evil thing overpowers the good nature of the sattvic person. This is how these devas are always overpowered by the asuras. So once it happened, the story goes that once it happened, there was a sangram, fight between the good and evil forces, and Brahman enabled the devas to win over. And the devas, as we would do, we did everything and we got it. Very good. This power is, this victory is ours, and this belongs to us. This sort of vain, false notion they had. The next. Tadhaisham vijignav tebhyo pradurbhavuva tanna vyajanata kimidam yakshamiti. Brahman came to know this because Brahman is the self of the self, is thinker of the thought. So before I can think, you can't get rid of that one. Brahman came to know of this, their vanity. He verily appeared before them, but they did not understand who that Yaksha, the adorable spirit, was. Since it is not possible for us to know Brahman as it is, so Brahman took a form, conditioned itself into a Yaksha. What is an Yaksha, if you ask? I have no idea. All it says an adorable spirit. An adorable form Brahman took and just came in front. These devas are always afraid because somebody might attack them. Devas are always frightened of any little bit something. They are even afraid of humans. If any humans do tapasya, they bring all sort of trouble for them. They want the humans to be under their control. This sort of things they do. So naturally, when Yaksha came in front of them, or the Brahman came in front of them in an adorable form, so they were frightened. No. So they were frightened. Who must be this person? who must be this person? So they thought. So they discussed the top. There's a hierarchy in the devas also. The king of the gods are Indra, and there are other hierarchies. So Agni, Vayu, Kubera, all this type of people are there. Here, three of them is mentioned. So one, we should know what the devas are. Devas are also here. They are the personification of the nature. Like the element, fire, then the Panchabhutas are there, the five elements. So these five elements have the in us, and each one is depicted as a deva because they illumine, they reveal. So light, Agni, light, fire, reveals form. Vayu, air, touch, feeling, all this. So it is the nature personified as a divinity. So they found it very troubling. The Brahman understood that these people are having a wrong notion. So he appeared before them as a adorable form. And then what did they do? Te Agnim Abruvan, Jataveda, Etad Vijhanihi, Kimetad Yakshamiti, Tatheti. They addressed, O Agni, O Jataveda, please find out who this Yaksha is. Yes, I'll go, said Agni. So the Devas, they thought, they wanted to know. So they sent one person to go and investigate who this Yaksha is. They asked Agni, O Agni, the other name of Agni is Jataveda. Jatam Sarvam Veda iti Jataveda. One who knows all that is there under the sun. All that can be known, he knows it. So he's almost omniscient. So Jataveda, please go and find out what this being is. He has come. Who is this? What is this? Go and investigate. So he also agreed. Tatheti. Okay, I'll go and find out, he said. Then next. Tam abhyadravat, tam abhyavadat, kositi, agnirva ahamasmi, ityabravit, jataveda va ahamasmi. Tasmin tvai kim viryamiti, api idam sarvam daheyam ididam prithivyamiti. Agni hastened. Quickly, he wanted to go and find out who he is. He was very happy that he has been designated, to go find out what this thing is. So he went. He went to the Yaksha. The Yaksha asked him who he was. Agni replied, I am verily Agni. I am also known as Jata Veda, almost omniscient, near omniscience. What energy do you possess? You who of such fame? Asked the Yaksha. I can burn everything, whatever there is on this earth, replied Agni. What an arrogance. Agni, he came with all big thing. So I'm going to find out, investigate what this person is, who this person is. So when he came, the Yaksha asked, who are you? Then he said, he could have said, I am Agni. I am fire. No. I am Jataveda also. I'm called as Jataveda. He's giving another biodata. What he is, big list he can give. Jataveda I am. Because almost I'm omniscient. He wanted to impress on Yaksha that he's a big person. But Yaksha was not impressed. He said, oh, what power do you possess? You who claim yourself to be so of such fame, I can burn everything. Whatever is on the earth, I can do it. Okay. Then next we'll see what he does. What the Tasmai Trinam Nidadhau Etat Daheti tad upapreyaya sarvajavena tanna sashank dhagdum satata eva nivavrite naidadashakam vijnatum yadetad yakshamiti. The yaksha placed a straw before him and said, burn this. Agni approached it with all speed. He was, however, unable to burn it. So he withdrew from there and returned to the gods, saying, I could not ascertain who this yaksha was. So when Agni went to him, that Agni couldn't. The yaksha placed a small grass, straw, dry straw, how much it takes. And for that, he went with all force. So when we are challenged, we lose our self-confidence. He could have as well just gone and burnt it. No, with all force, showing his might, he went. Couldn't burn a straw. And then, so he was ashamed. He came back to the devas. He said, sorry, I couldn't make out who this person was. He accepted his defeat and he came back. Then they thought, okay, this person didn't. So let's try the next one. So, atha vayum abruvam. Vayave etadvijanihi kimetadyakshamiti tathetu. Tamabhyadravat tamabhyavadat kositi vayurva ahamasmi abravit matarishvava ahamasmiti. Then they addressed Vayu. Oh Vayu, please ascertain this, who this yaksha is. Yes, said Vayu. Vayu means wind god. Vayu hastened to the yaksha. The yaksha asked him who he was. Vayu replied, I am verily Vayu. I am also known as Matarishva, the courser of the atmosphere. So Vayu did not lag behind Agni in his self-esteem. So he went and the same question was put by Brahman, the yaksha. The yaksha would be Brahman. Who are you? I am Vayu. So I'm also called as, see, he also says the same thing. Matarishva, the courser of the atmosphere. He could have just said, I am Vayu, any name. No, he also gave his biodata, saying that I can do this. This is my qualification. I am like this and that. So what's your power? I can just blow away everything. Okay. You blow this next. So he said, Tasmin tvayi kim viryamityapidagum sarvam adadiya ididam prithivyaamiti. Tasmai trinam nidadhau etat adhatsveti tad upapreyaya sarvajavena tanna sashanka adatum satata eva niravrtena etadashakam vijnatum edetadyakshamiti. What energy do you possess? You of such fame? You said you are Matarishva. So what's the power you have? Asked the yaksha. I can verily blow away everything, whatever there is on the earth, replied Vayu. The yaksha placed a straw before him and said, blow this away. Vayu approached it with all speed. Does anybody need so much of speed just to blow one straw? But he came with all power, like he's going to, like a tornado. But he was, however, unable to blow it away. So he withdrew from there and returned to the god, saying, I could not ascertain who this yaksha was. So even Vayu, the god, wind god, also failed in his mission to investigate who this yaksha was. Yes, the third. Athendram abhruvan bhagavan etad vijanihi kimetad yakshamiti tatheti tamabhyadravat tasmat tirodadhe. What happened? Then the gods addressed Indra, O Maghavan, please ascertain who this Yaksha is. Yes, said Indra. And he hastened to the Yaksha. But the Yaksha disappeared from his view. At least Agni and Vayu had the opportunity to converse with Yaksha. But when Indra came, the Yaksha disappeared once for all. Because maybe Indra must be all the more egoistic because he is the king of gods. So he needs a rather strong blow. So that is why Brahman absolutely disappeared. And now Indra was puzzled. Oh, what happened? But the good thing about Indra is he did not immediately go away. Hello, that person has gone. I couldn't find out. Before I could know, he must have gone. He ran away. So that sort of false ideas didn't come to Indra. Rather, he started contemplating, why did this happen? How did this happen? Why did Yaksha go? What he must be? He started thinking in these lines. And in that very place, the last one, स तस्मिन्नेव आकाशे स्त्रियमाजगाम बहुशोभमानानाम् उमां हैमवतीं तां होवाच किमेतद्यक्षमिति. And in that very spot, he, Indra, beheld a woman, the wondrously effulgent Uma, the daughter of the snow-clad mountain, Himavat. And to her he asked, who could this Yaksha be? So it's first, in the Upanishads, this is the first time you come across the concept of grace and a bit of mythology. Uma is a mythical, even the Agni and Vayu, they are also mythical figures, has come into. So when Indra couldn't, he did not accept the defeat. He did not return back to the gods saying that he couldn't ascertain them. Rather, he started pondering over about Brahman. And at that time, this divine being, this wondrously effulgent form of an woman, Uma Haimavati, the Himavan, daughter of Hima, mountain, Hima. And to her, he asked this question, who this Yaksha was? The story is very simple, very nicely, as simple as it can be, like almost like an Arabian night stories. But then it has a lot of a subtle meaning too. So this, our capacity to understand the reality is so, what do you call, fragile, so weak. Rather, none of this are able to realize the reality. In the bhakti form, we say that Sri Krishna says in the Bhagavad Gita, all the Kumaras, the Prajapatis, Devas, all I created. I have created them. None have the capacity to know me. In the 10th chapter, we read, the Rishis and Prajapatis all have been created by me. I know them all. They do not know me. So to know them, to know God, to know consciousness from the standpoint of the Indriyas or Buddhi is like putting the horse, the cart before the horse. It is the horse which drags the cart, not the cart dragging the horse. So Indriyas and the mind and the Buddhi are just the instruments which is worked out, which is energized by the reality. And this is what the Upanishad is asking us to turn our attention. All the purpose of the Upanishad is turn your attention. With with every modifications of the mind, with every perception, the Brahman is revealed, Atman is revealed. It is like a self-revelation. Only the matter, the world is so absorbing that we forget the light which is illuminating. The moment the light stops illuminating, it is dead, dull corpse. Corpus, nothing else. It's a dead body, we say. The Shiva, when Shiva gets out of the body becomes Shava. In Sanskrit, dead body is called as Shava. And consciousness is Shiva. Shiva, Shava. When Shiva is there, this body is very dynamic. It has all the energy, strength, power to think, all that. The moment it walks out, nothing. You do not have even strength to shake one's finger. The Divine Mother tells in the Puranic stories. Even you don't have, Shiva doesn't have, the Shiva doesn't have even the strength to shake one of its fingers. So this happens. So this is what the Upanishad is asking us to turn our understanding towards the Atman, realize our real nature, which is luminous, divine, one without the second, and thereby go back to our source. Or even with the knowledge of the deathless self, to conquer death. That is the greatest feat or greatest thing which we as human beings, psychophysical organism, we humans can do. That is, we conquer death by the knowledge of the deathless self. This is what the Upanishad is inviting us to learn and to explore. With this, the third part of the Upanishad, Kena Upanishad, for this month is over.
Yeah, thanks very much, Sridharaprana ji. Apologies to those joining us via Zoom. I'm aware that you could not see the slides. We are on a new laptop and it's revealing some issues, and we have some ideas how we will fix that. So hopefully we'll sort that out in the next week or so. Now we have time for questions or discussion, question-answer discussion session. And I mean, I'm just focusing on the allegorical side of this, Sridharaprana ji. I'm bemused. It's highlighting, I mean, the Upanishad is kind of, there's a bit of a commentary there on hubris, that even these devas, these gods, these highly evolved souls, even it's highlighting even they have this kind of, well, arrogance. They're too sure, overestimating their powers, overly proud of their powers. I'm kind of bemused that by that aspect of this chapter. And I guess that's a warning, isn't it? You even those who are very advanced on the spiritual path, the spiritual ego, I guess, the spiritual ego.
You're right.
Is that even more dangerous than the
Holy
the
Mother,
everyday
Holy
ego?
Mother says, Holy Mother says, you know, she used to, why we know she wore white clothes. She said, this white cloth is far better than that orange. I mean, she would tell those people who wear orange, immediately, I am a sadhu. How could they behave like this? Don't they know? I am fourth ashrama. Brahmacharya, Grihastha, Vanaprastha, Sannyasa, fourth ashrama. I'm the top. So everybody have to be very respectful for me. This sort of ego comes. Spiritual ego. Recognize it. This is very, Holy Mother herself says it's very, very tough. Very, 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 very tough. And the ego of sainthood is worst. You know, there was a story, I can't remember what's the name of the story. You know, a bishop was there, and I forgot. What a pity. At last, the three angels come. And the final is the desire for saintliness. He had to overcome that. I can't get it over. Long back, just moment I remembered this. So the desire for saintliness, the ego of saintliness is very subtle. And the subtler the enemy, harder it is to catch him. So it is this. And here also see that devas were sattvic, good. They are, even they had this wrong notion. That is why Brahman wanted to teach them that. But Brahman could have taught the lesson to the demons. You may ask, my Mataji, Brahman was partial. Why did he teach only the devas? Why not the demons? Demons are quite far away. Brahman has to work a lot on them to bring them. But whereas these, they are so much evolved. A little bit of one, just a blow is enough. Just a scolding is enough for them. For these people, thrashes are needed. But for them, it's just step. For we teach children. We nowadays, of course, here in Australia, they can't beat and do anything. For the children, if they are naughty, adamant, and in wrong way, we punish them. But for the older grown up ones, we don't say. We sometimes we keep ourselves make big face. They understand. Oh, somewhere I have gone wrong. Mom is angry. Mom is not happy with me. So that sort of, we don't have to be very, very harsh with them. So that it's easy also to work on them. So that is why Brahman tried to help the devas. Devas being so good, why should they have this vain notion that they are self-sufficient and powerful? I am the person. Brahman is the consciousness is the one which is doing. God is the one who is doing everything in the language of a bhakta. From the dualistic point of view, we can discuss. It's God. God alone is the doer. Sri Ramakrishna, if you read the gospel, in every page he will say, God alone is the doer. And we sing, the work is thy own work, men only call it theirs. This is what is happening. You do your work. Prakrtyeva cha karmani kriyamani sarvashah ahankara vimudhatma kartahamiti manyate. Prakriti is doing. Avyakrita Prakriti, you can call it even God or Prakriti. Everything is being done. But ahankara vimudhatma, egoistic person who is deluded, he thinks, I am the doer. Sri Ramakrishna says, the problem with the jiva is only this doership. So you reap. If you do, you have to reap. But Prakriti, the same thing in the 18th chapter. Prakriti karmani kriyamanani sarvasha yah pashyati tadhatmanam akartaram sa pashyati. Prakriti alone is doing. Who understands that I am akarta, I am non-doing Atman, all-pervading consciousness which is illuminating the Prakriti. Prakriti does it by itself. I am only the witness. One who has this knowledge is a Jnani. One who knows everything is done by that God, I am only an instrument, is a Bhakta. See? Same sentence in the Bhagavad Gita. One from the standpoint of Bhakta and one from the standpoint of Jnani. The same sentence of the Bhagavad Gita. Prakriti cha karmani kriyamanani sarvashah. As a Bhakta, ahankara vimudhatma kartahamiti manyate. Man endowed with ego, deluded by ego, he thinks, I am the doer. And here he is saying, Prakriti cha karmani kriyamanani sarvashah. Yapashati tathatmanam. One who knows he is the Atman, he knows that he is an akarta, non-doer. He is a witness. Same, half the shloka is same, but the other half shloka is from the standpoint of bhakti and from another is from the jnana. See, where is the difference? Absolutely no. So it's the divine which is doing. We as devotees, we can humble ourselves. If we have failed, we can say, yes, we are miserably weak. It's wrong. But when we succeed, we give the credit to divine, not us. Thereby, we are clearing ourselves. We are just cutting the bonds which is tying to our ego. So we are just cutting it. And we have a beautiful song. Kete dao mago karamero door. Oh mother, cut this cords of karma. I have tied it to myself. Once that is cut, I am free. So by humbling ourselves, by depending on God, or being established in our true self, we free ourselves from our separateness, limitation. We are infinite, pure, all-pervading beings. Why on earth we are here in this body and confined ourselves and going to all sorts of suffering? All sorts of suffering. But we are pure Atman, and Atman is one with Brahman. There's no difference between. And our consciousness, the pure consciousness, is all-pervading. But how hard it is for us to accept it. So much we have conditioned ourselves, limited ourselves. 100 times if people tell you are Brahman, we don't believe. This is the very, what do you call, pathetic condition of us. So scriptures are never tired of telling us again and again. And repetition is not a fault as far as Upanishadic literature is concerned. In literature, if you keep on speaking the same thing, it's considered as an, what do you call, it's not a right literature. It's a wrong thing. But whereas in scriptures, it is again and again, same thing Upanishad tells you. The scriptures say. Why? Because the subject is very subtle and we have the capacity, we don't have the capacity to grasp it. 100 times you are Brahman, you are Brahman, you are Brahman. Nothing is entering. It's concrete. Water is not at all. Stone, rather. Concrete also absorbs water. Stone. Nothing is entering. So repetition is a very, very important thing in the Upanishad. I'm saying same thing from Upanishad. We read the same thing in Isha Upanishad. We read this same thing, and now also same thing. All the Upanishad is trying to tell us is go inward, try to investigate yourself, go within, and there you have, you touch your source. Once you touch that, you are deified.
Yes, Bandana, you can go ahead, ask a question.
Thank you, Pranam Mataji.
We'll hear you.
Can you hear me? Hello?
Can't hear you, Bandana.
She can write it.
Oh,
Otherwise,
I'm unmuted.
No, chat's working.
Okay.
Anyway, there isn't much to discuss.
I thought that should be working. That's the problem.
Right.
Why is that stopped?
Can you hear me now?
Okay, Bandana. Sorry, there's one control I had muted. Try now.
Hello, Robert Pranam Mataji, can you hear me?
Yeah, we can hear you, Abhijit.
Okay, excellent. Thank you, Mataji. I think if I answered the question as well, but I was just thinking because it just sounds like in the third chapter, it's just hammering the point that any effectively like any good work that we do, we should attribute it to Brahman and not ourselves. So I think that's, I guess there's a message is coming through that we have to be absolutely steadfast in thinking like any good work we do, it is all the act of Brahman, and offer everything to Brahman as such.
Yes. If something goes wrong, we should have the humility to accept that we have failed somewhere. We will correct it, we'll work it out, and we'll overcome. And when we are successful, we attribute that success to the divine. If not, this tree will become all the more strong. Ego. Yes, please.
I was thinking, Mataji, when it comes to something going wrong, something that didn't happen the way we thought, of course, the humility to accept that things went is absolutely
Very hard.
valid. But I'm also thinking, if we are able to accept that when everything goes right, it is Brahman, we correspondingly accept that when everything goes wrong, it is Brahman.
Yes.
So when we do that, then you don't have to be worried. You don't even have to feel
Yeah.
sorry. That is it. So
Something this has not happened because it's good. Lord knows better than me. Certain things has not happened because that is not good for me, may not be. It is like kids may ask so many things, but which is not good for them. Do you mean to say the parents will always agree? No, they will say, no, you can't have that because that is bad for you. The child may not know it. It may assert that to have it, but the parents don't. Ultimately, when the child grows, we have one devotee. Her mother didn't bother, gave her a lot of sweets, and she lost all her teeth. Her teeth and all gone. They are not good. So she doesn't give her child sweets because she was not taken care of. So she's so particular. But see, she was demanding. The child, as a child, doesn't know demanding, and the mother gave in. And the result is now she has a bad teeth. So if the mother had to refuse, and she would have said, thank God mother didn't give at that time. Another child said, why didn't you smack me at that time when I did that? See, the mother refused to punish the child, but the child, when she grew, she asked, why didn't you do that? Why didn't you smack me at that time when I did this? I would have learned my lesson at that time. So these things happen. So when something goes wrong, we should know that this has happened, maybe something to teach me. So I don't have to, I have done what I have done. It hasn't come out, fine, that's it. So this type of strength we get, this is called a spiritual strength. When our understanding is towards Atman or Brahman or God, so this is the strength we get. Yes.
Pranam Mataji. The earlier to this chapter, you said about Brahman, what is Brahman? If you know Brahman, that means you do not know Brahman. And if you don't know, that means you know. So then how are we to know what is Brahman? Because you are given the description, Brahman is everything.
That is
in
what
spite of all the godly characteristics, opulences, which Vayu and the Devas, Indra, Indra and Agni, they had the opulences of the like fire. They can burn. In the Gita it also says you cannot burn. Brahman, you cannot burn, you cannot dry. All these things are mentioned in this verse, So how are we to really know? How are we to approach? We do not know Brahman, we do not know God, we do not know anything, we're just going in the dark. So can you enlighten us how we have to approach in the Vedanta philosophy?
All we need to do is turn our attention from the world to God or spirit, whatever it is. Turn your attention completely this way. Now the buddhi is outside and it sees the world out. It understands the world out. Turn your intellect to how do you do it? That is to be very, very strict. You cannot play with Vedanta. If you want the right answer, right Viveka. First thing is, that is why sadhana chatushtaya, this four sadhana chatushtaya, if you are depending upon the degree of your practice of these virtues, your understanding becomes clarity. The clarity happens. First is understand what's your priorities, what is correct, what is not correct, what is good, worth giving time, what is unnecessary things. You need to understand this clearly and invest all your energies to that through reducing your outgoing tendencies, that is uparati. Calm yourself, meditate, and this instrument called buddhi, you have to refine it, sharpen it, so sharp that it can cut through name and form. And what is left is only Brahman. That means to say decluttering of the mind, clearing the intellect. The contents of the intellect should be more towards the Atman oriented. That is why we say in the Gayatri mantra and even the Upanishadic mantra, turn my understanding towards the Atman. Atma Buddhi Prakasham. Atma Buddhi Prakasham. Turn the Atman. To turn the Buddhi towards the Atman. So through that you understand. And Sri Krishna says in the Bhagavad Gita, Dadami Buddhi Yogam Tam Tena Mam Upayantiti. And he will light Jnanajam Tamaha, will go away. I will light Jnana Deepena Bhaswata. So when you do turn this way and go towards it, the light of the Atman is falling on you and your Buddhi is cleared. Then you don't have all the questions. Today's 15, today's yesterday's, I don't know. Sri Ramakrishna says, the more you go towards God, the less is your questions and doubts. This is Sri Ramakrishna's quotation. The more you go towards God, the less is you're less disposed to this questioning and doubt. So all the understanding will sort out by itself when we start going towards it. That's the only way. Start going. First, pull off yourself from that side. We have been tied to that. The boat is always anchored. You have to first remove it so that it can move, it can go. Then you have got to row towards and then only go. So we have to, that's what we have to do. Now
No.
our affections are tied towards the world, that we have to cut it and turn our understanding towards the Atman and proceed in our sadhanas.
In the Bhagavad Gita, it says, Brahma Buddha Kalpate. You have to have the 20 characteristics, So say Buddhiya, that starts from there, you have to do all those things.
You have to do all those
All
things.
those spiritual,
Practices,
sattvic qualities.
all those. When you practice, then Sri Ramakrishna says, your Buddhi itself will become the teacher.
That what he said, sharpen your intellect.
It becomes so clear. The light of the Atman is falling on your Buddhi, and your Buddhi is, with that light itself, we have to go. With the light of the Atman only, we have got to go to the light. The Lord lights that small lamp within us. And with the help of that light, we go towards Him. Where else can we get light other than the self? There's only one light. That is, so if we can enable the Lord to light up the lamp within us, then with the help of that, we go towards Him. That's why Swamiji said, we are not going from false to right, but we are going from lower truth to higher truth. Lord
Lower
will
truth to higher
higher truth. We go towards it. We have. These are all is the manifestation of Brahman. We ourselves are also part of Brahman. We should have that faith. We are pure. We are Atman. This knowledge, if we have to nicely put it in our brain. Even in dream, we should not forget that we are not Brahman. We are not Atman. When the mind is saturated, when the Buddhi is saturated, so naturally it will go towards the Atman.
So we have to say we are not as sinners because from lower
No.
we have lower
Just-
truth to higher truth.
Absolutely. Give up all those negative
So
ideas.
heaven and hell is not there actually.
No, that is why somebody said, should we go, Swamiji was lecturing, why pay money just to know that there is no devil? People were telling, why should we go and listen to this man who says that there is no devil? According
it
to
depends on-
Vedanta, there is neither devil nor evil nor sin. Anything that is away from the truth is less dark.
Away from the reality.
Reality, truth. The more you go away, the more you becomes diverse, the more you become separated, the more you become separative, then your ego works, then you are different from me. I want to grab you. This is what is happening. In small scale, it is like that. It just, you think in the bigger scale, how the nations are doing. So this is what, so all some root is there. The ignorance is in man.
In the Gita, it mentions what you mentioned just now, You either we got consciousness or divine
Atman.
qualities or demonic qualities. But demonic means we are concerned because in the Gita it says demonic qualities are who are passionate. All our characteristics is more for demonic qualities. If you really go into the Gita.
Yeah, so we know that so they are there, let them be. Now we have got Vedanta, we will try to practice this and we go towards. That's it. Very simple, as simple as that. Just know your priorities and go. Yes, ma'am.
As you say, when this difficulty comes, financial, family illness, and all that, that is a way of, I think, probably telling us either there are two ways to tackle it. Either you succumb to it and go to the either depression or the anxiety, and or with the religious background, you can go and fight it. And slowly it tells you that God is the one, and whatever is given to you, it is mainly to draw you towards that rather than away from you.
Yeah.
So I think it is one of the things one has to take it, and instead of considering as a punishment, if you
Yeah.
do this other way around,
Yeah.
I think it makes a difference.
It is just not only from the standpoint of practicality. That's a fact. That is the fact. That is the truth.
And
Why?
the second thing I was thinking, as the guy, as you say, the yaksha, to blow up this straw of grass and all that, as the Brahman is the main thing who is created, and you can take it like a boss who knows everything, and he can tell the other person. But here, if you see it the different way, that Brahman has given you the strength to reach to that level. So that time, once you reach that, you don't have to pray for it. You are a Brahman.
Yeah, you get it. All you need to is you turn towards it and you get it. And go try, set, seek, you will get it. Knock, it will be opened. Ask, it will be given. All these things have to be done. Just turn the Upanishad's main concern is turning us to get rid of our sorrows and to be happy. That's the only thing. I think we have finished the discussion.
I believe that's it for the questions.
Finished. Thank you.
Next month, Sridharaprana will be giving commentary on the fourth and final chapter of the Upanishad. This coming Friday, we have the spiritual evening discussion led by Sridharaprana. Next Sunday, we've got the special celebration, Durga Puja, talks by Bandana Kaur and by Sridharaprana, and there'll be a flower offering ceremony to Durga. And please bring some sweets or savories to offer, and we can share them out afterwards. Then last Sunday of the month, Sridharaprana will talk about her pilgrimage to India, accompanied by some photographs and video footage. So thanks everyone for coming in person, and thanks to those persevering via Zoom and a few technical problems that always seem to keep popping up, various things. But we'll get there, we're getting better, running all these audio visual equipment. So we look forward to having you all with us next week.